Hello my friends, my name is Emilio Paco and welcome to this course. Before we dive into hands-on, let's take a step back to see the overall of the Spring Boot flow architecture. Okay, this flow, my friends, is very straightforward. First, the client makes an HTTP request. It could be a get, post, put, delete, patch, update, and so on. The request goes to the controller, and the controller maps and handles it. In a nutshell, basically, the controller provides the space to develop REST endpoints for your application. Okay? After that, it calls the service logic if necessary. By the way, all the business logic runs in the service layer right here. Spring Boot runs the logic on top of database data that is mapped to JPA with model classes. And of course, we have right here the repo layer, which is implemented to access the database and helps to extend the CRUD operations on the database. Okay, and this layer right here, the service layer, may use the repo layer to implement certain logic involving the database, and this implementation can be done by using the dependency injection, but you will understand this later on the course. Okay, but basically dependency injection allows for loose coupling, yes, loose coupling of components and moves the responsibility of managing components onto the container. Okay, so in this course we'll start by configuring the database connection and defining the model as well. After that, we will create our service that will handle all the business logic, and then we'll move to the controller so we can make the HTTP requests. So, alright my friends, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and please don't forget to share, subscribe, and thumbs up the video. That helps a lot. And I'm going to see you in the very next video. Hi, I'm here on the Spring Initializer website. You can go to start.spring.io and you're gonna see this website that you can use to bootstrap any Spring Boot application. Okay, so all we need to do is to specify all the information that we need for our project. I will leave this section right here the default, so it will be a Maven project. Language will be a Java. Spring Boot, I will leave this version right here, and here you can just simply put your company domain. Authority will be the same of the name of our application. In this case, it will be car store. Yeah, sorry, car store. That's it. And for the description, let's say car store app. Okay, and make sure you're choosing the jar packaging. Well, I'm running Java 18, but you can use any version right here. But make sure you don't choose a version below 8. Okay, let's add some dependencies. You can, as you can see here, you can press Ctrl for multiple adds. So it will be a web application. Let's search for web. We add a Spring Web dependency, and we need a way to map our model class, our database. Let's search for a GPA. Okay, and also we need to connect our application to the Postgre database. Let's search for Postgre database, and last but not least, let's search for Lombok. Well, basically this helps to reduce boilerplate code, but we'll see this in action later on. Okay, that's it. And you can see here that you have all the dependencies right here, and you can explore to see how your POM file looks like. Okay, and then you can generate or download our startup project, and make sure that you have a Postgre running on your computer. Okay, so my friends, let's open this on IntelliJ and start coding. All right, I'm here on IntelliJ, So we need to connect our application to our database. Okay, let's start by set our module. I will create a new package. I'll call it module. I will create a new class. Okay, I'll call it car. Alright, let's set some fields here. I need an ID. Let's say maybe we need a make module, I don't know, private string, maybe a type, and can say motor code. Okay, so this class will be our entity, right? So basically an entity represents a table stored in our database. Okay, but in order to Spring understand that this class is our entity, we need to specify, we need to use this annotation right here, entity. That's it. And let's specify our ID. Okay, our ID, right? And this will be auto generate strategy out, just like that. Okay, and let's say that I don't need. Okay, I will say that this field, it can be null. I can do the same thing for the whole fields. Yeah, I think we can do the same thing for the whole things right here. So let's create our constructor. I can just go to generate, or I can just simple click alt insert our constructor right here. And we need also an empty constructor. Let's type here. Let's create getters and setters, and we can do, if you want, okay, the same thing for toString. Alright friends, so you can see that we have some boilerplate code right here. Okay, so I will remove all of this. Let's use the Lombok. I think it's much better. To use the Lombok, we just put this notation, getters for our getters and setter, and also need the no args constructor, just like that. If you want maybe toString, we could do this. All right, but okay, for now we don't need. All right, my friends, so we are done with this class. So let's set our database configuration right here. Let's set our database configuration. Okay, I will do Spring.data source URL be gdbc that postgre gdbc possibly SQL localhost my port car store. So make sure that you have these database created. Okay, I have mine here, as you can see, car store, and we need to set the username and the password. For me, Postgres, the same thing. For me, let's make the configuration for the JPA configuration. Let's start by set our data description language. I simply put JPA. Okay, we have some values here. Basically, if you choose create every time we run the application, it will drop our data, and it will drop our data and create a new scheme. Okay, so let's put update. Okay, so it will update if necessary, and let's say Spring JPA show scale to true. Basically, this is to see our carries on our log. Let's set that the Spring JPA properties that delete will be equals to org hibernate delect PostgreSQL delete, and let's avoid some warning messages. Okay, I simply put Spring GPA properties hibernate that okay gdbc that load non textual creation. That's true. Okay, this is done, and if you need let's say that this name car will be the same on our table, but if we need to change, like put our custom name, you can just use this notation and name it. Let's say it will be cars or table cars. Okay, so let's run our application and see that everything is alright. Alright, as you can see, my friends, here, create table, TB cars, it's working properly. Yes, if you go post our database, let's refresh. Let's log tables. You can see we have this right here. Okay, so I'm going to see you in the very next video. Alright, great. Now we need a way to manipulate our data. Okay, so let's create a new package right here. I will call it repository. Let's create a new class. Actually, it will be an interface. We can call it car repository. And now here, the only thing we need to do is to extend, okay, so the GPA repository, and it takes the domain class to manage, and our domain class is car, as well as the ID type of the domain class, just like that. So now we have access to all of these methods, okay, right here. So basically the GPA contains API for basically CRUD operations. Okay, it means that we don't need to create these methods for create, read, update, and delete. Right. So now, guys, we are ready to move to our service. Okay, great. Let's start by creating our service. Let's create a new package. Let's create a new class. You can call it car service. Okay, great. Let's start by bringing our repository. Final car repository. Create a new constructor. Basically, this is the dependency injection right here. And by the way, we don't need to use this notation to get access to all of these methods. Okay, we don't need this. Let's create our methods. Return a car. Let's say add car. Imagine that you want to perform some business logic right here. We could say car repository. Car. Let's set motor code. You can bring these to string and just simple return car repository save. Just like that. Let's create another one to get all the cars. I will return a list of cars. I will call it find all cars. And just simple return car repository that find all. Okay, I want to give you some examples. Let's say I will return an optional. Basically, an optional is a container object which may or may not contain a non-null value. Okay, an optional of car. Let's say I will call it find car by motor code. Motor code. Okay, so I will return car repository that find car by motor code. We don't have this method. We need to create this, and this is an optional. Okay, and the GPA will understand this carry find car by motor code. Okay, let's create another one. Return the car is for update car. We'll bring a car. Return car repository. Return. Let's say just like that. And let's create the final one. To delete, this will be void delete car. Actually, okay, delete car by ID. What will delete car? You know, let's bring our ID. Car repository. Delete by ID. We have this method. Okay, so my friends, our service class is done. So now we are ready to move to our controller. Okay, I'm going to see you in the very next video. Alright guys, so let's move on to our controller. But hold on, before we continue, we need to insert this notation right here as service, so the Spring can understand that this class is our service. Okay, great. So let's create a new package. I'll call it controller. Let's create a new class car controller. Let's start by bringing our service right here. Okay, private final car service. Okay, dependency injection. Alright, before we continue, let's face it, we need to implement some basic validation. Okay, And from the client, we only need the make, model, and type. Okay, so we need to create our DTO. Let's create a new package. DTO stands for data transfer object. Okay, let's create a new class here, car DTO. And even if you go here on our model domain class, if you click here, we have this option, create DTO, and we can check all the fields that you want. Okay. All right. So here in DTO, let's declare these fields. Make, let's have a maker, private string model, have a string type. Okay. Let's add a new dependency for the validation. We can put right here. Let's see dependency. It will be Spring Boot start validation. And don't forget to click here this icon so we can update or sync our POM file. All right. Let's go back our controller. This okay. Let's finish the DTO. Sorry. We can put this annotation for Lombok. Basically, this is a shortcut annotation that bundles all the features, like some features like toString, getters. So with this annotation, we don't need to type or put getter, setter, string. We don't need. Okay. So let's say that we don't want this field to be blank or null. We can do the same. All right, so this is all we have to do right here. So this will be, actually this class is our controller. So let's put here REST controller. With this annotation, Spring Boot can understand. We understand that this class stands for our controller. Let's put here the request mapping. Let's say API version 1 car, just like that. Let's start by creating our first method. Let's say for get mapping. Okay, let's get all the cars in our database. I'll be using response entity. Response entity represents the whole HTTP response. Okay, I mean body, headers, and status code. So it will be a response entity of type of list, of car, get all cars. Okay, so I will simply say car or list of cars equals to car service that find all cars, and I will return a new response entity. On the body, I will print the list of the cars, and I will set the HTTP code, just like that. Okay, let's create another one. Get car by ID. Okay, get by ID. I will return a response entity. This time will be of object get car by ID, just like that. And we need to have access to this ID. Okay, so let's say path variable, and we can just simple type a value equals to, or we can just put the ID. Yes, it will be UID. All right, So now we can say first let's check if we actually have this ID. Okay, you can simply say optional of car optional equals to car service find. Okay, we don't have this method. Find car by ID. I will pass the ID. Let's create right here. Find car by ID. I will return car repository. Find by ID. Okay. You can see that the arrow right now disappear. Just like that. I want to show you a better way of doing this. Okay. So let's type return optional. I will put your response entity of object. I will map. Okay. Let's say car new response entry, and here I will print the result of the car, and I will pass this code right here. Or else I will get a new response entry, new response entry. Let's say I can pass a message like saying car was not found, car this car the ID was not found. Okay, was not found. And yes, let's pass the right code, right status code, not found. Just like that. Okay, that's I think, yeah. And let's move on to, let's say, post mapping. Okay, I will return a response entity or response entity object. Add car, add a new car, and here we need to take the request body. We also need validate inputs. Okay, and I'll be using a DTO for that. DTO. Okay, that's fine. So to add a new, let's say, you can just simple say maybe optional or no, just okay, we're adding in DTO. Okay, you can see var we can just simply say, let's say var equals to new car. Okay, using DTO, so we need to copy these some properties so from here to here. Okay, to car DTO. Yes, let's say I'll be using utils copy properties. Our source will be car DTO. Our target will be a car. Just like that. Let's say car new car equals to car service that add car, and we can return a new response entity. Response entity. Let's say the main stage we can print the new car, and we can update the status code. HTTP status create. Okay, it seems that we have an error. Let's see. Okay, new response entity. Now let's move on. We have get post. Let's do to put to update. Okay, we okay, update. Let's say I will need ID to update. Okay, public will return response entity of object. Update. Okay, update car, and here I need I need an ID. I need to get this ID. So put this annotation path variable ID, and what else? ID, and I need also request body and valid input. Okay, I'm working with TTO, car TTO. Oh, right. So here, we will do the same thing. Okay, with this. Just to copy some properties. Let's say we can do better. Let's find. First we need to see that actually we have a car with this with the given ID. Okay, so we'll say optional of type car optional equals to car service find car by ID, just like that. If we can't find a car with this ID, or if this car doesn't exist, you can say optional present. So if it doesn't exist, it will fail out. Okay, we will return a new response entry. In the message I can say car ID not found, or that doesn't exist, it was not found. I'll update code, not found. All right, if we have something here, if we have an object, we will proceed. We have these, okay, properties, and let's say we need to update some, we need to set some values here. I'm gonna say car dot set ID first. We'll say car optional, okay, because here we have all. Okay, if you pass here, that means that we have an object here, that we have a car actually. So let's first get and get the ID. Okay, car that set motor code car optional. Okay, no, car optional. Okay, get motor code. That's it. And now we can save and say update car equals to car service that update car, and we pass the car. Okay, now we can return a new response entry. Okay, we can just print the updated value, and then let's say, all right. So my friends, our controller is ready. I'm going to see you in a very next video. All right, guys. So let's test our application. Okay, but first make sure that you have a database running. Okay, let me refresh. As you can see, my tables are empty. Let's run our application. Okay, it's building. Okay, you can see here, create table. Okay, Tomcat started on port 880. Let's see. Let me refresh. Okay, we have this table right here. Okay. Let's say HTTP. Let's try first to create some objects. Okay. Okay, JSON model. Let's make yes. Let's say W. Make like start model. Maybe a series 2. Type, let's say sedan. Okay, created. Let's nothing strange, man. Oh no. It's getting okay. Let's put post. All right, that's right. Let's add more. Maybe okay. Two. Okay. Let's get. Can see we have all these. Let's perform. Let's try to update. Okay, I will update. Maybe I'll put the series 1. W. I will leave stuff right here. Okay, it's working. Let's try to update, but with empty string. No, to put. Okay, it's working. Let's try to get all more time. Right, it's working, my friends. Let's try to. It didn't see exactly this update. Let's update this one. Okay, it will be series. Okay, I'll put series 1. Let's say. Okay, let's get all of them. Yes, it's working. Okay, let's try to let's test our validation. All right, it's working, my friends. So thank you for watching this course. I hope you enjoyed the course. And if you want me to do the front end of this application, just let me know. Okay. So my friends, don't forget to share, subscribe, and thumbs up the video. I really hope you enjoyed this course, and I hope to see you in a very next course. Okay, bye.